So going live, Seven Names of God. I'm going to be singing that for a second. Something that you may want to learn. I'll probably post it after I'm done. But we need to connect with God. We need to connect with Source. We need to connect with something divine. Yeah. So I'm going to just say that hopefully redeem. Huh. That's funny. Redeem your promo code to get more viewers. Okay, well, no. Whoever's joining me is joining me at the right time. As you know, I've been... Hi, Stephanie. It's good to see you. Thank you. So we're going to do the Seven Names of God. And I'm going to sing it. Bear with me. And I'm going to sing it because there's a potency to that. And hello. hello. Thank you, Letty, Jen. Thank you, Jen, for being here, Stephanie. So I'm just going to wait for maybe 9. I want 9 people. That would be awesome. You know how I love the number 9. Today, maybe later on tonight, I'll do numerology to kind of gather the troops and to, But the Seven Names of God is a mantra that was written by Meher Baba, who was a Persian who had been born in India. And who was actually coming to bring... There were these amazing sages coming out of India. There were some charlatans, let's not forget. I'll put everyone on a pedestal. But there were some amazing souls like Yogananda Paramahansa Yogananda, who wrote the autobiography of a yogi, which they must read if you're on the spiritual path. I mean, you know how I love to give you books, right? You know how I give my clients homework. You know how I love to do that. Because when you're going through the ascension and the awakening, when you're going through ascension, physical ascension, things that are happening to your body, symptoms. I was searching for the symptoms. Hi, sweet sister. Thank you, goddesses, for being here. And any beautiful divine masculine. Just know you divine masculines are there. You got to understand that you guys are unicorns. So I'm going to clear my throat. I just had an amazing chat with a wonderful singer. And a lot of us are being blocked in our throat chakras. Nessie Gomez is somebody who I highly, highly recommend, who talks about... There's a beautiful video that she put together. It was a poem written by a man. I wish I could give credit. I'm not good with names. Sorry, guys. But who wrote Anyone Can Sing. And so with that premise, I'm going to start with this. This is the 7 names of God. Now, the 7 names of God are something that I used to also do. I'm going back to it because I'm feeling the energies of the planet, as you are. And it's heavy. And the 7 names of God is something that I used to work on my chakras when I lived up in the mountains of Northern California. So hang on for a quick second, okay? Hang on for a quick second while I'm thinking maybe drum, maybe no drum, I don't care. I'm thinking, hang on, I'll be... Hari, yeah. So... 7 names of God, to give credit to where it's due. Meher Baba. Meher Baba, actually, before I start, wrote, was all about Don't Worry, Be Happy. And that famous song that went viral around the world in the 80s, Don't Worry, Be Happy, was an amazing song. And it was from Meher Baba. Don't worry, be happy. All right. Hari Paratman Ahala Yadu's my God, Yahoo. Allah, Yadu's my God, Yahoo. Hari Paratma, Allah, Aruzman, Gayazanhu. So that's the 7 names of God. And I'm going to I'm actually going to post the actual names on my profile page today so that you can have it, so you can practice it. And the best version to get is the one where you see Meher Baba, and I'll make sure to put that in so you can find the best version, because there's all kinds of versions to that one. But you want to work on the concept of this idea of singing primal. So one of the primal things that I'm a big fan of, which doesn't take any talent, it really doesn't, is drumming. Hare, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. Shiva Hari Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya. It doesn't take training to do this. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's what it feels inside of you. It's breaking through the pain in your heart. It's opening the heart chakra to explode out of its clenched fist because of this feeling of impotence in what's happening with the world. You know what I'm saying? It's just singing and it's just wailing. And in fact, some of the best people that have had my whole body shiver and my eyes fill up with tears never got classical training. They just sang what I could not put into words. And that is where many of you need to do, because many of your, and I can tell you that because I do this. I do numerology, I do tarot readings, psychic readings, and hypnotherapy. Many of you are muzzle lions. Muzzled, which means the throat chakra is blocked. And I forgot myself, to be honest with you, because I've been very, very triggered by what's happening with people all over the world in terms of the pain. I've been triggered with the fact that the divine masculine is becoming, many masculines are choosing to be in their broken state and not in their unicorn state, which is healing above the fracas of their chaotic monkey minds. So it's very important for our frustrations to leap out of our throat chakra, because once it stays in, this is where cancerous cells starts forming. Okay, this is why people have heart attacks. Because, they'll say to me sometimes, I haven't cried in 4 years, like it's a flex. Like, are you kidding me? Fuck, I cry all the time. Now, was I that person? Yes. And you know what happened to me? I had a heart attack at the age of 45 because I never cried. And the body can't do it. I have a friend who has never cried, and she's had, how many? 4 or 5 heart attacks. Okay, she had a massive surgery. This is a female. So this idea that you can't cry and that not crying is not part, that's a flex, that's a warrior energy, is a major fail. So one of the things that you can do is sing. It doesn't matter. At first, you may not sing well in your own ears. I mean, I certainly don't think I'm a professional singer. Don't think. But and I am a shy person, believe it or not. In the essence of me, I'm more of a shy person. However, what I can tell you is that singing in a primal voice, in a primal way, in an ancient way, which the shaman drum, can help you overcome your own shyness. So again, I have this, and you want to work with someone who can actually create a drum for you, or find a drum that you love. My drum has an amazing lion on it, and it's the face of a lion that's very soothing. But do you hear this? And when you put it against your ear, so whoa. Great Spirit, for my life, for mantras. Learn them and then sing them. Best thing you can do for your throat chakra is make up your thing, wrap it up with some Sanskrit mantras, and sing your fucking heart out. Just fucking sing. Go on a beach. I remember going on a beach with a Shruti box. My twin said, you need to go sing on the beach. And so we went down with my Shruti box, which is a harmonium instrument from India. And I sang for 45 minutes. And with my Shruti, which is a very evocative sound of something so ancient, you can't put an age to it. Anyway, the sun was setting, and I was singing from my heart, and people were turning around and smiling. And a woman just went, wow. Because when you sing from your heart, it isn't this, it's not, you don't have to worry about losing the tune because you won't. Do you understand? When you sing from your heart, your what comes out of your throat is going to be straight like an arrow. It's going to be like an arrow they're showing me released into the sky, as the Native Americans used to do, is releasing the arrow of your throat chakra into the sky. Many of us feel a lot of pain, a lot of rage, a lot of impotence, and it's blocking our root chakra, and it's blocking our heart chakra because it feels clenched, like it's boxed in. And the best thing you can do is release it, and you'll find that all of these energies will start dissolving. All of these blockages and calcifications will start dissolving, because thank you, Lord, that's so sweet. So I just want you to have faith in how you sing. There is a video you can look at, which it never fails. So write it down, because I'm not typing it. Okay, I'm being for real. It's called Anyone Can Sing. Nessie Gomez, Nessi Gomez, Gomes. There's no way you won't cry. It's fucking the most incredible video on the concept of using the throat chakra as a healing modality for yourself. And it's funny too, because I just spoke to a really well-known singer, and there's been blockages in the writing of the music. And I was downloaded to tell her certain things she needed to understand and to do and to explore. And many of us in the spiritual community need to hear instruments and music and harmonium voice, the sound of the harmonium coming out of the throat chakra, is when somebody can actually have, it sounds like two voices coming out of one throat chakra. Believe it or not, this is a real thing. And it's a real thing that we knew how to do in the ancient ways. And they just showed me Stonehenge, as I said that. Stonehenge was just shown to me. Okay? So what I'm going to say to you is that we need to go back to our primal roots of healing. And healing is not something, no offense to talk therapists, because sometimes, bloody hell, you need to fucking talk it out. You do. You need to just talk. Again, here we go with throat chakra expression of pain with someone who witnesses it, and you hear yourself speaking. Absolutely. Of course, we need talk therapy. But what I'm saying is sometimes there are things that are so deeply buried in yourself from this life and other lifetimes that you need to release it through song. Does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions or anything they want to share that I can read out to the collective here that's joined us here? Any thoughts or feelings on that? Okay, so I'm trying to remember this woman's name again, and she was on an interview with Regina Meredith when she did her London shows. She did a whole bunch of interviews on London shows where she was in London. She interviewed this woman, David Icke, Freddie Silva. I think she did a whole thing of, the British spiritual teachers of our time we have a massive amount of British people who are shamans, healers, badasses in Ireland and England. You'd be surprised. That little island, that little stretch of has a lot of potency. Some pretty incredible people. But what I'm going to say to you is that I urge you to sing. And if you sing in the shower, which is interesting too, you want to make sure to sing something that's going to be a high frequency, so that the water becomes your partner in becoming a conduit to raising the frequency of your intentions as you're showering. So typically it's good to shower and sing a mantra. Okay. What else can I tell you? Yes, the other thing I wanted to tell you is 440 hertz isn't good for you. Okay, this is known by everyone in the spiritual community that knows anything at all, that knows how to, walk across the street. It's a known thing that 440 is not good for you. And I did a video on that about the Rothschilds who came up with getting us from 432. So that means that, excuse me, that means that when Bach was writing, Bach, Mozart, Chopin, Strauss, all of these guys were writing their music on the hertz of 432. That was just the default of the instruments. That's why the shaman drum you can't fuck up. However, the Shruti boxes, and there's certain instruments that you can actually, have your person string it to 432 hertz. I did this with my Shruti box in Wales. I had this guy change it from 440, which is now the default of all instruments, to 432. So it's doable. And you will find when you go and look up 440 just to see that when the knowledge of 432 first appeared, there was no question of that. But now, and it's very malevolent, it's a very insidious little shitty thing that they're doing. And however they are, 440 hertz is being used as a meditation music. That is such malarkey. I can't even believe they're pulling that, but they are. I just looked it up because I was just trying to find my friend some data so that her partner, who's a musician, could reconsider changing his instruments to 432. Then my download, and I'm sharing this with you, was that they needed to get a string instrument from the ancient Egypt, ancient something. I couldn't, and she told me, there's this ancient string instrument that's very old. It's we don't know how old it is. It's been around since forever, and it's a string instrument that comes out of ancient antiquities of Egypt. And I said, get that, buy one, find one, whatever, because you want to work with that kind of instrument. So if you notice that many people in the spiritual community who are kirtan singers, like Deva Premal and Mitan, which is an amazing story about how they met, which if you want, I can tell you, but they're fully aware of 432. In fact, if you look up Deva Premal and you put 432 hertz, you'll see that she has versions of her albums in 432 hertz and 440. She doesn't say 440. It's just that it is, right? What else can I tell you that's interesting about sound frequency? Oh, yes. The download I was getting also is the Rife machine. The Rife machine, imagine, was 432 hertz. He lost it. Oh, my God. Are you kidding, Terrence? I didn't know that. Let me read this again to you, folks. John Lennon, Terrence says, John Lennon, imagine, was 432 hertz. He lost his life for the song. That's amazing. Hang on, let me read some of your comments. I'm sorry, I was looking away when I was doing this little chat here. 439, baby. Oh yeah, 432. I just naturally started chanting, humming, and singing. It feels good, and this confirms I'm healing. Thank you, absolutely. So all music tuned from 1939 or earlier is fine? No, it's 1930 something. It's not that it's fine, but it's funny that you said that, because there's these old records that came out in the 1920s. They're very, very heavy records. I would say buy that. I went to India, Sikh party on Saturday, had a live Indian drummers. Wanted to tell you guys about it on WhatsApp, but I'm crazy busy with moving. Love sound for healing. Yeah. And there is a woman in the States who, you look up human biofield, and she started working. The sound Om is 432 hertz. You got it. Yeah, makes sense. It's naturally curved to that. 10 minutes, ça fait 7. Yeah, enough. Which, again, 9. It's God's number. This is why I love 9. So what I want to say to you guys is that if you don't have an instrument, like, do you think I know how to play Shruti? Like, honestly, do you think no, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But I love it. I do it anyway. So I remember there's certain instruments that I totally have invested in, because I knew that I would need the healing from those instruments. So, like, I remember telling my mom, because my mom would spend, like, I don't know, $600 on a handbag, and I said, my handbags are my shaman drums. That's where I spend my money on. DNA repair and activation is 528. Yes, it is. So with that said, Terrence, thank you for bringing that up. you may want to look up human biofield and getting some tuning forks. When my mom was dying, I'm sharing this with you, I was using tuning forks over her body as she was, she was in hospice on oxygen, just to raise the frequency a little bit more. And you want to use those tuning forks over the chakras. And there are things you do with the soul from the body also. And so that the person can have a more effortless life, it's, especially when they're suffering like that. But what I will say to you is that when you use these frequency wands, the first time I ever used frequency, I didn't use them. My son was in a session with a healer, and she had these massive frequency wands that were made out of brass, okay? And I was in the waiting room. Her door was closed, and I felt it I was blissed the hell out. I was like, what? When they were done with it, what was that? And she went, and she showed me, and she did it. She hit it against her thigh again. And she said, I just inherited this from an older lady. They were massive. And I have no idea where she got them. But that's my hunt, is for those kinds of frequency wand. But I bought mine, just so you know, from Human Biofield. And they're amazing. And I need to pull them out. I have not pulled them out since my mother passed away. So today what I'm trying to do is to really tuck into sound frequency for healing. And the sun is 9 and gigahertz. It activates third eye. Yes. There's a documentary called Eating the Sun. The metal albumin is important. Beautiful, Terrence. I love it. I love it. I hope you're following me. I'll follow you back, actually. Let me do that now. Hang on. Let me see if I can do that. Yeah. So you've got some beautiful knowledge. I love it. Thank you. We love New York. Followed low. Thank you for following me. We love New York City. I used to live in New York City. Long story short, let me explain something else. So the Rife machine, as you well know, have you guys heard of the Rife machine? I'm just curious. Have you heard of it? Do you know what I'm talking about? I hope you do. 144, yes, Terrence. We talk about, in fact, many of us in the feminine community, we've been seeing 144, 414, 441 all day long. We see various aspects of that number. So the Rife machine was frequency sound to heal cancer, okay? And that was destroyed. And there are people still trying to chase that. And some people are saying they've been able to reactivate it. Some people are saying all kinds of things about that. And really no one knows, because the Rife machine, again, you never know, right? There are all kinds of people making maybe false, not everyone is in the spiritual community is a good person, which honestly, that shouldn't be a surprise to you, People take advantage of all situations. The other sound frequency that was destroyed, I'm sure you've seen the posts on the massive church bells. I don't know how you grew up, but when I grew up in Europe, those church bells, many of them are still up. And I don't know if they're still up today, but I know that those church bells, when they rang, those massive church bells, 2 tons bells, tons of weight that would suddenly ring, and the whole frequency would just explode across the land, chiming 12, chiming 5, whatever. There's some massive sound frequency that we've lost. That's why many of you will go into a very old cathedral. One that's very good in New York City is St. Patrick's Cathedral. That has an incredible acoustic in there. And though I'm not Catholic, never have been, never will be, I would go to St. Patrick's and listen to them practice in the late 70s, early 80s. And it was just the reverberation of the sounds of these young children singing, right, was like bloody amazing. It was like it's incredible. So there's something about temples and churches, in particular cathedrals. And so if you ever go to Europe, you definitely want to visit Chartres, which was created by the Knights Templars, and they used Solomon's sacred geometry and so forth to do that. And I'm trying to read what you're saying. Used to bind collective consciousness of nearby awareness, bind in a good way. Yes, the church bells. Yes, I agree with that. Totally. So this whole thing was about singing, okay? So again, let me repeat myself. Go watch Anyone Can Sing by Nessie Gomez, Gomes, Nessie, Nessi. Listen to that poem. But I'm going to leave you with, because I got a lot to do today. I have a very full schedule. But I needed to take a break to sing. Outside of me, I carry everywhere. Singing, just for the hell of it, singing. It doesn't matter if it's good. It doesn't matter if you miss the beat on the drum, which I did, by the way. It doesn't matter if you feel like it's going to make you cry. Actually, you know what? I've sat in meditative pose, if you will, meaning on the floor with my drum up against my ear, singing a mantra of, for me, Hare Krishna. It could be anything for you. It could be Om Namah Shivaya, Om Shanti Shanti. It could be, it could be the Gaya Mantra. It could be any of those powerful chants. There's so many more. There are thousands of chants, mantras you can pick up for any reason. And there's certain chants that will make you start crying and sobbing and sobbing. You need that. You need to release that. That is an incredible session you're giving. You're actually giving yourself a healing session. So the drums I get, not that I'm, she doesn't even know I'm advertising this for her, but it's called Naya Moon Art. Excuse me. Naya Moon Art. And you can find her on Facebook. Because if you find her on Etsy, it'll be like probably $100 more than you have to pay. But her name is Naya Moon Art, and she's on Facebook, and her name is Magdalena, and which that would be incredible, right? And she paints these drums. She's actually in the UK. She lives in the UK, and I've gotten probably 6 drums out of her. And I could buy more, like some women love handbags and shit like that. That's my Hermes bag right there. That's my Birkin right over here, my drum. And when you sit and work on letting your throat chakra expressing itself and meandering through different mantras, meandering through words, meandering through just nonsensical maybe words, it doesn't matter. You're releasing and exposing yourself to massive healing. Does that make sense? Thank you. So does that make sense? So I urge you to do that. Okay. You can also do it with symbols. You can also do it with some comments in this life. I always read that because it makes me chuckle, because somebody is always triggered by somebody talking about healing and healing space. It triggers people. It's so funny. So grateful for you. Yes, makes so much sense. So yeah, so I invite you, especially you in the Divine Feminine crowd, consider. I remember one of the things I did was selling all kinds of jewelry, things that I didn't need anymore. And I bought my first shruti. Well, I only have one shruti. My first shruti, which was not cheap, okay? Not cheap at all. I think it was like in the $500. Yeah, it was $500. None of these drums are cheap, by the way. But what I'm trying to say to you is that there's stuff that you're not using in your closet. There are handbags, there's scarves, there's shit you don't use. And this could be what you really use, and that heals you. It's your healing mechanism, okay? So I urge you to somehow find, an artist who you love. I gave you one name, but you might find an artist that you really, really love, and you're like, this is the kind of drum. And by the way, she takes commissions. She'll do a drum for you. But all of the drums, what I've noticed with her, just so to be blunt, is sometimes her drums, if you let her do her thing, you're better off than telling her what to do. Does that make sense? Because when you tell her what to do, I feel like she cages her art in. And when she just paints with her music blasting and she just goes at it, fuck, the woman's brilliant, okay? So this is one thing you may want to look at. And if you guys know me personally, you can text me and I'll be happy to send you her WhatsApp number so you can actually order directly from her, right? And she'll send you what she's got available. And the 7 names of God, I will post that. The 7 names of God, once you know it, you can't forget it unless you stop using it. And I have a bodhran that my mom gave me for a birthday. I love it. A bodhran. Wait a minute. Is this a string instrument? Or is it a drum? Andromeda. Is that in string or what is that? Is that a string instrument or a drum? That's interesting. It's an Irish drum. Oh my God, that must be fantastic. Yeah, that must be fantastic. Wow. That must be something else. These are all handmade and hand painted. And she actually has a clinic where she actually has you guys come in. You guys can actually spend a weekend with her and you can make your own drums, pulling the skin and so forth. And though I'm a vegetarian, I know it's counterintuitive, right? But the animals have, it's I think it's consciously, what's the word? Consciously récolté, taken. Oh my God, in Ireland, it's normal to turn up to a pub with your instrument and join in. Yeah, see, that kind of community thing, we don't have in this country. We don't have this in America. That's why people are so disjointed and suffering more than they should. I think that's why there's a sense of massive aloneness in the American consciousness. It's based on the fact there are no pubs, okay, in that level of consciousness. There are no, like the pub where you may not even drink, but you have a meal, right? You have your fish and chips, or you have your shepherd's pie, and you have maybe you grab a beer or whatever. There was one where I lived in Pasadena, California, South Pasadena. There was a an Irish pub that was, kids were allowed, so you'd have kids running around. And they were trying to create that. And God knows if they survived the lockdown, the debacle of the lockdown. A lot of places that were trying to open community type pubs, because there's something about the pub. It's not a bar, it's a pub. It's like a family thing. It's like, I don't know if that many of them survived. I'm sure, thank God they survived in the UK and Ireland, I'm pretty sure, but that unfortunately was not the case here. There's not enough, support, okay, through the powers that be, especially in California. But I think that more and more of us are trying to create communities that are in line with living together and growing food and simplifying our day-to-day life, because the system is just really they're telling me to say corrupt. And it's interesting because it's done purposely for us, for our benefit, for the greater good of us. Believe it or not, sometimes you got to squeeze somebody for them to move. You've got to let them go. Unfortunately, in the U.S., the story is you need someone, you're weak, and now we're all depressed and lonely. Exactly. Yeah. Well, this, again, the bootstrap theory the bootstrap theory is a lie. It's so much so, and this is what I always say, so much so that FDR had to come up with the New Deal, which means he had to put Americans to work. And that's what saved Americans from the Great Depression. So the New Deal was where the money was put out for jobs to create highways, roadways, and so forth, right? And buildings. And the New Deal saved Americans from depression. So there is no bootstrap theory. That doesn't exist. It's a lie. It's always been a lie. And FDR proved it. I guess they all waited on their hands going, well, I'm sure they'll get to it sometime. And no one could get out of that, I don't know if you guys remember the Depression. They were, and I heard this, and I know that it's true. They were trying to eat the soles of their shoes. Okay? The starvation, the famine was massive. a total lie. It doesn't work mathematically or any way. No, it never has. And if you look at wolves, I sometimes wonder why wolves were so maligned throughout the centuries. It doesn't make sense to me, because when you look at wolves and how they work together, and they do work together, just like study wolves for like 1 hour. And who taught you to tie your bootstraps? I don't know. I don't know. The bootstrap theory. I don't know who came up with that one. Probably the 1%. That's what I think. But a total lie. The total lie that we have to look at is for our own good, because we're being pushed to create the kind of infrastructure and society that we want. But it starts, believe it or not, with what I'm saying, with singing. Because in singing, you release this sense of powerlessness and fear, and it brings up this shamanic wisdom out of you from your heart chakra, and the root chakra, and whatever's blocked in your chakras, all the lower chakras from the hara all the way down to your root, right? Hara, sacral, and root will be shaken. The calcifications will shake, okay? Because once your heart opens up and uses the vehicle of the throat chakra to release the wings of despair out of your body, there comes a new level of breath in you, and you're able to completely recalibrate yourself through sound. And that's why it's so incredibly powerful. I love wolves, benevolent leadership and cooperation. That theory is unsound because humans don't know how to tie bootstraps without love or a teacher. Exactly. A person could never learn that. And yet we hunted these wolves down. We still do hunt wolves down. It breaks my heart, because when we take a wolf out, we could take the mate of someone, of a wolf. Wolves mate for life. They do. They mate for life. And if one wolf dies, the other is bereft and alone, even though the rest of the wolves, a tribe, will surround them. You know what I mean? So it's really important that we have more respect for human nature, and human nature, animal nature. And honestly, I'm going to tell you something. I don't think there's such a difference. I call them furry people. Me, animals. I call them furry people. All the way down the fish. Octopus. It kills me that people eat octopus. It hurts my soul when I see people actually eating octopus. It just hurts my soul. Because octopus are extremely curious, extremely intelligent. Dolphins, I could just go on with the list. Let me see, what else? Thank you, Andromeda. Okay, so I'm going to post the 7 names of God. You guys will be able to look at it. I might sing it, and on the video, just so you have an idea of how to sound it out in song. And then, bloody hell, learn it. Just freaking learn it. Learn the song. Learn the 7 names of God. All right? And I'm posting this on TikTok, just because I'm going to upload this on YouTube. And so I want to make sure that people know that to go on TikTok to get that information. Irma, if I'm not answering your question, there's a reason, right? Right? All right. If you want a proper reading, then I'm available. But I would never answer. I do this in every live. I have to explain to people like you, which I understand. No, but listen to me. Don't just go off. I need you to listen to me. This kind of question is a life-altering question. And this takes you understanding to do a real proper reading with someone. And yes, it costs money. It's like $108 if you do an hour with me. But then I would see the numerology of what's going on with this person. I would also see what the karma and the downloads of past lives. I would also see what's coming and why this game is being played. Why you should even question it. Because when a man loves a woman and when a woman loves a man, they connect every day. It's an everyday thing. There's no, will they call, shall they call? When they don't call, that's when a reading is important, so you understand, is it worth it? Is this a soul connection? Is this a past soul contract that needs to be healed? Is this, what is this? And why is this troubling me? Why is this haranguing my peace, right? And so that's why it's important to invest. Now, will I do numerology on a live? As you can see, I have, if you follow me at all. You'll see that I do numerology on lives because numbers don't lie. I don't need to hear your voice. I don't need to know much else about you because the numbers will tell me what I need to know. But I will say this. Anything else beyond that, be careful, because it's really not worth it to get these kinds of questions answered half-assed. You're going to get a half-assed, because I have a 50% chance of saying, yeah, he'll reach out to you soon. Okay, so does that make me a great psychic? I mean, who gives a it's a numbers game, right? It's 50% yes, 50% no. However, the most important thing is invest. I invest in healers. I heal people. I work as a hypnotherapist, as a psychic, but I also seek out my own healing, because healers need to be healed by other healers. So if I'm going to invest to have my energetic blocks released so I can be a better healer for others, then it's important that you understand that it's important that you consider investing in a proper reading. And when you get a proper reading, it should last you a good 2 to 3 months, because the energies, will be a certain way. And because you'll understand what's happening with your energies, you'll be able to either transmute the energies or I give people homework, I give people homework. I give people mantras, an understanding of their chakras so they can do their own chakras themselves. I give people books to read because I'm a believer in that, music to understand, things of that nature, and energy work so that you can actually progress through the process. I would love to work with you too. Let me send you my website. I'll send it to you right now. So you would go to tonybarca.com and you would fill out an intake form with your phone number, and we would be able to work together. But I will never do a yes/no on a live. You'll never hear me do a yes/no. You will hear me in numerology get out of nowhere downloads. That happens here and there. It did happen a couple times when I did numerology on people, because my guys are giving me the information, but I'm not trying to search for it. Does that make sense? I'm not trying to, for $5, trying to tell you what you want to hear. And if that person doesn't reach out to a person, what is the reason? What is the blockages that are creating this drama that's making a person suffer and waiting and feeling stuck? That's not a good feeling to have. And when you do a proper reading, you should have the information so that you can proceed. A lot of my clients have become transcendental, and it's not because of me. It's just simply because I reminded them of who they were as spirit souls. And in doing the homework, they were able to pull down all information that they once knew in multiple incarnations in their most powerful selves. And they were able to become transcendental, meaning, not that the pain isn't there, but they realized that, this person's running, and all right, well, we'll see what happens. Meanwhile, I'm getting on with my life. And some people are actually moving into exploring other potential partners, and some people are exploring themselves fully, going through a 2-3 year celibacy purposely to find out what is it about me that keeps attracting people who are afraid to love. Not love me, because you're never the problem on that end. It's love. Why am I attracting people who are impossible to love? And that is a spiritual work. Do I teach classes? Honestly, I feel like I should, only because in working with clients all over the world for decades, I'm just learning. I've learned so much from them, and I see patterns of people. So maybe I should start classes, But again, I guess I'll look into it and see how I can do it so that we can actually do it on Zooms, and it'll be a class on runner, on family dynamics, on scapegoating, golden child and scapegoat issue. Sometimes a person is a scapegoat and a golden child. Sometimes they're a scapegoat, which is really, really, really hard. And the golden child is just as hard, but in a different way. Very, very different way. And quite often what I've found in patterns when you are with a beloved that you just adore, and you're having problems being in final, lasting union, that they personify certain aspects of one or two of your parents. I found that to be true, okay? And sometimes the person, your twin or a high-level soulmate, is your mother or your father or both, believe it or not, wrapped into one being. And these triggers were put in place before you were born. It was like a contract to say, okay, you got to learn this, then this. So I'll come in and I'm going to come in and I'm going to take on these egoic framework, right? And I'm going to have these experiences to turn me into this problem person. In other words, I'm going to be a problem child for you as your beloved, because I'm going to be afraid to love you. I'm going to have anxiety over trusting you, because you trigger everything I've always dreamed of, didn't think it would ever happen. And here you are in flesh and blood, and you're scaring the shit out of me, and I'm running. You're everything I wanted, and yet everything I fear. And I fear it because what happens if you die? What happens if you betray me? What happens if you find out that I'm not good enough for you? What happens? What happens? And all of these things culminate into a runner. Believe me, I know, because I was a runner. So I know exactly what I'm talking about. I've been a runner and a chaser. And both of these states of being are filled with anxiety and self-recrimination. And it's a hamster wheel of bullshit. And so it's going to be very important that singing. You think this shit's like basic? Singing? You think it's not important? I don't mean singing like, Hootie and the Blowfish songs or, shit like that. Though you could find yourself suddenly singing Catfish. What was his name? I forgot. But you could find yourself singing something out of Painted Black, out of nowhere. And maybe that song is eliciting something of you as a teenager, as a kid. Maybe something out of Soft Cell or Dead Can Dance or, or Tattoo You by the Rolling Stones, right? Whatever. But these songs could elicit something. In fact, sometimes it's not a bad idea, if you want to recapitulate into your childhood or teenage years, to pull out a couple songs that were very, very meaningful to you as a form of somatic meditation. I just got that as a download, so I'm sharing that with you. And because it's the same idea, they just told me to share this with you. It's the same idea as when you've got people with dementia or Alzheimer's and you play music from the 1940s, 50s, or 60s, and suddenly they remember. They remember everything. Because the music has brought them back, somatically speaking, neurologically speaking, back to a time where memory no longer has to shut down, if that makes sense. So it's a somatic awakening. Does that make sense? So yeah, listen to music like that. But I would urge you to invest in a drum and a shaman drum and get yourself into, and meanwhile, sing kirtan, sing mantras, sing ikaros. Ikaros is music from, which could be a little complicated for you just to say, but ikaros is the music that play for when you do ayahuasca, right? It's jungle music. And it's very beautiful too. But try mantras, because they're the easiest thing that you can morph into the next thing, right? Let me think. I'm trying to think of... I have a moon span steel hand drum. Fantastic. Good. Yes. That I'm sure would have you sobbing, right? So you add your throat chakra to that. I know that the sound frequency resonates across your body. I get that. But once you add your voice to it, and just let your voice move like a moving sea, right? Does that make sense? So it's just letting it, and then you move into Hari 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 Rama 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 Rama. You just go. There's no rules. Your throat dictates. Your soul dictates. I've been looking for a drum that comes to me. Honestly, go to Nayamun. Oh my God, total download. Let's do Zoom where we sing together like I'm singing with you now. Oh, that's fabulous, Steph. That's awesome. Well, Steph, are you in the Starseed group? Because we have a Starseed group on the Zoom. So typically you have to join our Discord group, and we talk about everything. Okay, we're unhinged, just so you know, unhinged. Okay, we talk about things that may make you uncomfortable, woohoo like, and all kinds of shit. Meaning, you know, concurrent incarnations, walk-ins, the political system right now, infrastructure, things of that nature, and everything. Okay, great. So yeah, bring that up. Okay. The drum, Rachel, Naya Moon Art. I mean, I'm just saying, just check her out and wait. What happens is she kicks ass during Lionsgate. She'll start kicking ass in making lion drums. There on every lion drum I've bought, it was during Lionsgate. I've got three lion drums. One's my son's. That was the first drum I commissioned from her, and then a horse and 2 Black Panthers. Yeah. So yeah, she's amazing. She's fucking amazing. And Naya, oh no, here, let me write it down. It's Naya, here, it's Naya Moon Art. And you can check out her stuff on Etsy, but she's also on Facebook. Okay? All right? Naya Moon Art and at Etsy or Facebook. Honestly, oh wow, I have to get savings for Lionsgate. Yes. When she she did one drum, we were all fucking losing our minds over it. And somebody else bid, not bid, but got it. She doesn't make anyone bid. Sorry. Somebody said, I want it first. And she also decides who, because she knew I had 2 line drums and she wanted this person to have it. Probably because this person had saved up. And it was the most incredible, a 20-incher. That was the most unbelievable line to this day. She does incredible lines. Don't get me wrong. Like the line I have right now, my heart and soul. There's another line I bought, which that line I used. It has a light language on this other big 20-inch line. And I used that one to drum my mother to the other side. Okay? To drum her to the other side so she could drop her body with sacred sound and mantras. I was chanting mantras as she, dropped her body. So these instruments are incredibly potent because of their well, I mean, there's no 4/4 right? There's none of that bullshit. It's all they are the most important investment you'll ever make is a drum, in my opinion. The most important. Okay? So I will leave you there, sending you much love, and I hope this helped. Take care. Namaste.